about to take you on a death-defying journey that combines gonzo skiing with epic parasailing to produce a brand new extreme sport. The adrenaline junkies who dare to take on speed riding are looking for a different thrill, and the risks are part of the adventure. So tonight, we're going along for the spectacular soaring ride. Who says humans can't fly? Here's ABC's Gloria Riviera.
Here, in the skies above the frozen wilds of the world's gnarliest frontiers,
we're on the snowfields, having a great run.
A handful of daredevils are breaking all boundaries, pioneering a new sport where extreme risk, passion, and pure grace collide.
Speed riding is a perfect blend of big mountain skiing and high-performance parachute flying. And what it does is it allows people like myself to go to terrain and do lines that were never thought rideable before because they closed out in big crevasses or big cliffs.
It's the thrill of conquering uncharted terrain that drives these extreme athletes into the air.
The limit of how far they're willing to go is pretty endless.
Of the handful who are spearheading this new extreme sport, John DeVore might just be the most fanatic.
Look at that! Look at that!
Like many dangerous adrenaline-based sports, speed riding is a mixture of precision and a taste of fear.
If you don't have fear, that inner animal is going to come out and it's probably going to make you make decisions that are bad. I'm constantly mentally checking myself.
To get a glimpse, he is taking us deep into Utah's backcountry, part of his Red Bull team taking us for a ride in a helicopter.
I love helicopters.
But on the way up, there are two concerns. First, the wind.
Wind's not an enemy unless it's at your back.
And clouds.
We want to be able to see the terrain pretty good. We're traveling at 50, 60 miles an hour, so you don't want to be in flat light and all of a sudden some roller comes up that you check into.
We touched down at 10,000 feet on a narrow ridge called High Ivory.
Pretty steep drop. Try to get enough speed to get his wing inflated behind him so he can start to fly.
This wind comes right over the top.
Veteran guides Clark Fiennes and Mike Olson are on safety patrol, checking the line John will take for rocks, trees, and measuring wind speed.
How many variables are we talking about out here? That's a question that makes these guys laugh.
Yeah.
At the breakneck speeds John can reach, it's important nothing is taken for granted. Any miscalculation can spell disaster. John's gear is a precision custom-rigged harness built for speed and safety.
That looks comfortable.
Yeah.
He has a lightweight canopy, the parachute.
It's an 8-meter wing, which is really small, much more of a Ferrari type flying, really twitchy and fast.
The visibility seems okay, but the wind not ideal.
How do you feel about the winds right now?
They're pretty light. I think with how light they are, as soon as I drop off the ridge, it's going to be good.
Light wind means fewer crosswinds that can slam John off course or into the mountain, but can demand more finesse. But Mike has another warning.
Just make sure that if for some reason you don't get any air under your feet, just be light.
Yep.
You know, try to be as light as you can because there are some rocks. We don't have a real deep snowpack yet.
Gotcha.
Soon after John launches, the lack of good wind causes trouble.
I hit a massive rock, so I feel on my knee for a second. It felt really weird, so just give me a second.
John's dropped below a ridge.
Oh, we can see him right there, can't we?
You can just see his head
just
right
the top
there.
of him, yeah.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, he said he just kind of tweaked his knee just a little bit on a rock.
He takes off a second time, but then...
I hate to say it, but I think I might have blew my ACL, man. I can't stand up without my knee flying sideways.
Immediately, Mike skis down to John, radioing back to confirm.
The helicopter's just made an emergency landing in that zone right there to get John in the helicopter because his left knee is too weak for him to make it any farther down.
John is a career stuntman in movies like Iron Man 3 and Transformers 3. Surprisingly, this is his first injury.
I'm not afraid of death. My mom blames me for all of her gray hairs. My wife's a mess every time I go on a trip.
In The Unridables, a new documentary on Red Bull TV, John faced that fear head-on, stalling out on a narrow ledge between two glacier crevasses.
I knew I was on a snow bridge. I knew the crevasses were a couple 100 feet deep, I could tell. And that's where I was in uncharted territory, kind of. And my heart was just racing.
In many ways, that's the point.
There is a fine balance of pushing and pushing too far. And you're never going to know what's possible if you don't try the unknown.
But he's not about to let his bum knee hold us back. So invested is John in exposing the world to speed riding.
A lot of people think we're just Yahoo daredevils, and that's simply because they're not educated on what goes into the sport.
So he sends us back up with his pal Andy Farrington. Back on top, the wind again, a potential nemesis.
Without a lot of wind, how are you gonna fly?
Ski fast.
And he does.
But that was a perfect display. He takes off here, flies, touches back down.
That was beautiful. That was amazing.
For an even closer look, we ski down.
That's a good day at the office.
What more can you ask for? That was beautiful. Just a slight touchdown here, and then he just took off like a bird.
While it may seem like these riders live to push the limit, ask them what's most important and they say safety. Ask John why he does it, and his answer might surprise you.
Some people might go to a shrink and talk to a doctor, but for me, when I get out into the air, that's my meditation, and that's what I call it. That's my air therapy.
Therapy, then, over the rush, found in untouched skies.
Guess who's going to stay home with you guys?
For Nightline, I'm Gloria Riviera in Utah.